Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Right?
Good morning.
Arr. Feisty this morning with my pirate outfit on. Who's got a win to start us off? Somebody's had to have a good Monday.
I helped a buyer to buy his first home yesterday. So it was my
Awesome.
first time. Yeah. It was a brand new home, new construction. So the only thing is gonna be built is gonna be ended on December.
Yep.
But anyway,
So you got an accepted offer on it?
yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Make sure you are doing your homework on new construction. What stage is the property in right now?
To
Is
tell you
there
the
just
truth, it's nothing. It's just a
nothing,
lab.
just land?
Yes.
Okay.
They said that it's gonna be completely, done on December. So, and it's gonna be on the contract.
Let's just stay on it. Make sure you are, seeing that through every step of the way, because it's very rare that these contractors are staying on track, and all of a sudden that's extra and this is extra, and new construction can definitely be difficult. So just dot your I's, cross your T's, especially if it's your first one.
Yeah.
You're going to need some assistance for sure, or that the builder's going to eat you alive.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
make sure you get some guidance.
Yeah, I was
Anybody else?
working before in new construction.
Okay.
So yeah,
Well, that
I
helps.
know. Yeah, I
That
know a little
helps
bit
us.
about it. Well, thank you so much.
You bet. You bet. Who else has got a win for us? Corey, let's do it.
Got a listing agreement signed in Springfield for a house I bought with a client 4 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah, they called me
Nice.
up. They're getting married, moving in with the guy. So she's selling her house.
Beautiful. Beautiful. In all honesty, how'd you do on follow up with these guys? Are they just, do they get monthly emails and stuff like that? Is it somebody that you thought
It's
would
somebody
always come
that
back
I
to?
met.
Or
Yeah, it was a stranger when I met her. I had an open house at in another listing in East Longmeadow, and then I ended up working with her and helped her buy that house in Springfield. And just over the years, just periodically, just checking in. How you doing? Drove by. I'm big on, hey, I just drove by your street. Was thinking about you. How you doing? I'm big on those, and I always get a response. Or I follow up on, hey, did you ever finish that project you were talking about? Whatever the project was. Just regular, just nonchalant hellos, and also the giveaways and events that you signed up for, and our past client concierge always helps. But again,
have you, in 4 years, have you seen her face to face?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
at least 3 or 4 times.
How did those interactions come about?
We would just meet for coffee, or we met for a drink, just saying hello, catching up with our kids. We became friends.
Cool. So pretty much all informal stuff, but it wasn't because sometimes you get the person that you think would never come back to you. They'd never send you a referral. Like, any referrals from this client over the 4 years?
I had one actually, and the guy ended up not selling, but it was her boyfriend's father. He was going to sell his house, and he ended up, I did a listing, a presentation and everything, but he ended up not selling. But, I'm big on just being available, being there to help, not asking the question, do you know anybody that, is buying or selling? Just, being relevant, say, how you build your business, sharing success stories and things like that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of just being their real estate resource. You don't,
Yep.
when you call, people, once they buy a home, they are constantly making changes. So it's just, the easiest way that I've ever, felt like when I was in production was just jot down whatever project they're working on right now. Hey, they're working on the deck. The next phone call is, hey, how'd the deck project come out? What are you guys working on next? There's always a project going on. So like that's kind of the way to just, and you're just checking in. I mean, people hate finding contractors. They rarely know somebody, and it's even difficult on our end. But you've got to have that list of people and just be like, I just want to be a real estate resource, whether that means that you need, help with I don't know, the lot lines and the neighbor's fence, call me. I'll get a surveyor out there. Your roof is leaking, call me. I will help you to find a roofer. And you guys don't have to have all these connections. I was talking to an agent yesterday, he's like, I don't have many contractor friends. No problem. You don't need the response right away, right? That's what we got to use this community for. Hey, I got a client in this town. Somebody have a reliable roofer that they've used before, right? And in the at the time that you're having the conversation, you can either say, and this would be the darn truth for me. Hey, I've got a couple of people. Let me check in with them and see how busy they are. Because what I realized is I would typically get, an electrician at the beginning of his career, and they'd be a great referral source. And my people would call, boom, I just hook them up. All of a sudden, hey, you gave me Johnny, called Johnny, you never call me back. Now that's coming back on me. Right? So now I would always have to call Johnny. Hey man, I'm going to give you this client. You going to call him back? You got, do you have some time right now? Then make the connection. And now they're also more likely to get out to your client, etc. Right? And so just say, hey, let me take the time and maybe just, hey, you know what? The guy that I was using for my electrical, last time I tried to refer him, it wasn't good. Let me reach out to my network. I'll have you a couple of options, within a few days or something along those lines. This is the easiest way to stay in touch with these people. So awesome win. Margaretta.
Good morning, all. I have some great news. I'm bringing this to the table here. I got a brand new three-bedroom, one bath keep coming on market. It's not listed yet, so you are the first ones to hear. 175 Burger Ave. Open house today, 1 to 2:30. I mean Saturday. Jesus.
Okay.
On Saturday, 1 to 30. 350. Beautifully redone, completely fripped.
Congrats. I do want to remind everybody on the call, I don't want this call to be, hey, let me promote my new listing and get some marketing out there. Got a listing, awesome. I want to hear maybe about the story and stuff, but and if you haven't checked it out, when you guys sign up, there should be the rules of engagement for the call. No big deal, Margaretta. This hasn't come up really much recently, but I just, I do want to hold to those guidelines. I don't want this to turn into an opportunity for everybody to market their listings. So I want to talk about.
Sorry about that.
No, hey, no worries. We haven't talked about this in a while, not at all. You're probably not even aware. Most people aren't even probably aware of the guidelines, but if you're a Rovi agent in our calendar, we've got the guidelines in there. If you're not, when you signed up, you should have got the guidelines. If you didn't, let me know. And I'll happily get them out there. So if somebody is in front of a computer right now and wants to help me out and grab those guidelines and pop them right into chat, that would be awesome. Anybody else? I kind of want to spiral on the Corey thing and just talk a little bit more about how we're getting stuff from others. Did anybody hear anything based on my conversation, what Corey was saying, that you think you could add? What are you doing to stay in touch with your people? As a brokerage here where we are, we're working, we got a lot of newer agents. We've got agents, maybe 50 or less transactions. And I don't know that we talk about this enough of how are you getting, the personal deals off of the deals that you're putting together. Sue.
Well, I have 2 past clients that I made a note that they were having a child in June. I reached out, hey, did you welcome in that new baby? And I just, I get into different conversations with them, and at the end, I just say, if if you come across anybody that's, looking or wanting to sell, keep me in mind. Just give them my information.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great one. If you guys aren't doing this, when you hear about a life milestone, getting married, having a baby, getting engaged, there's a wedding coming up, we've got to get these things into the CRM. You've got to set a task for a follow-up. And then it's just that quick touch base, boom. And all we're not even talking real estate on that call. Hey, I know this is, whatever the milestone is, just want to follow up, say congratulations or how'd everything going? And then you're off and that's just getting yourself in front of that person. They know that you do real estate, KB, you were next.
Yeah, I think obviously milestones is one of the things I was going to say, but social media stalking. I think that every time I have a client, I do try to add them as a friend and to my social media, whether it be my business page or my personal page. But being able to see what they post and engage with their posts just keeps you top of mind, whether you like social media or not. Everybody is on some sort of a platform. So you should be on all of them. And every time they post something, like it's my baby's first birthday, like it's just comment on the kid, comment on the puppy, comment, you know what I mean? Insert yourselves into that aspect of your life and their life, and they'll always be, you'll always be top of mind.
Somebody else had their hand up and I lost it.
I think it was Molly.
Molly, yes.
It was the same thing that KB just said about just
Okay.
following them on social media.
Cool. Oh, he stole your thunder. Yeah, this came up.
Hi, Rosie.
This came up in the one-on-ones quite a bit. And agents almost even seemed to acknowledge other agents were better at this, and it was a weakness for them. But I think one of the strengths of what we've got going here at Roby, where we're helping agents build their book of business pretty quick, is its instant credibility amongst your sphere. So one of the most difficult things is, even if you have a sphere, is to get them to trust you that you're going to be their real estate resource. So what we see a lot of times is the sphere deals don't start to roll in until year 2 or 3, after you've proved to them that you do this. It's 6 to 12 posts throughout the course of a year that, oh, Molly didn't just get her license, because they know a lot of people typically that, oh yeah, I got 3 other buddies that have their license too. They never seem to sell anything. Oh, but Molly, I see her closing something every month, right? So at a minimum, if you're not going to go out and do the proactive stuff like KB is talking about, at a minimum, get your own stuff out there just to start to get the confidence of your sphere, so that as you're building up this career, those deals start to come in. Anybody else want to comment on this and what they're doing? I definitely heard a lot. I've been really trying to push personal business of late, talked about it in the one-on-ones a lot, and it was a lot of I don't know what to say. So that's why I'm trying to get out there that we're not talking real estate on the calls, right? We're talking maybe about the events and giveaways that we're organizing. We're talking about their life events, and then we're asking what kind of projects are going on about the house. So if we're going to go real estate, that's where that's going to be. The other thing, if they don't have any projects going on, maybe they've got a trip that they're thinking about, a summer vacation. You get that information. Hey, I know you guys are planning that trip to that cruise to Alaska or whatever. How did it go? Right. And not just as a bullshit thing, like they're going to tell you it was a great trip. Now you're talking to somebody else. Yeah, I don't know. What were they? Hey, I had this other client. They just did this Alaskan cruise. Happy to make that connection. Happy to get you some more info. Right. That's being a resource. That's a lot of what this game is being the in between to make these connections. KB.
I just wanted to mention one other thing is, when you're making these connections with people, whether it be through, social media or a quick text message, just checking in on things, know when a phone call is going to be a little bit more appropriate, and know when a phone call is more likely to turn into a possible transaction, right? So like if someone has a baby, there's a good chance that they may be looking to upgrade their property. If someone gets a new job, or maybe they got a raise, or they post something that's super exciting about their lifestyle is going to change, there may be an instance that, hey, they're coming into some more money with their their new job, they might be looking to buy a new home. So to me, that's not a Facebook congratulations. That's a phone call, right? Like, I'm so excited for you. That's amazing. Tell me about your job. Or, oh my goodness, that baby's so cute. I can't believe it. You know, like, what are you going to do? You have a 2-bedroom house. So make sure you know that when a phone call is more appropriate.
Great point. I would say this is when you're looking at the different platforms, LinkedIn is, people like to post what their new job is, and then you can get that notification, and then you can make that reach out. So when KB is talking about the new job or promotion or whatever, a lot of times you're going to see that on LinkedIn. That's your tip. Hey, I got to go. I got to do the reach out. James,
Yeah, I think
you got a haircut there, buddy? You tighten it up a little bit?
That's the Marine look right there.
All right, looking good, looking good.
5 pounds off. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to allow, like basically talking about trying to build relationships and ultimately friendships here, which is what really locks in a long-term repeat business, and making people really comfortable referring you to their friends. And I found it's a really good idea to, while being interested in their lives and keeping on top of what's going on as points of contact. You want to be careful not to go into the stalker realm too early or be too on top of everything that's happening in their lives. I just feel like a lot of realtors, a lot of business people do that. So people have a bit of a wall up against that as well. When it comes naturally, it's fantastic, but also allow your clients and your friends to be resources to you, so that the conversation's coming the other way. I'm going on a trip to Europe. Oh, one of my clients is Italian. He's laying out a whole itinerary for me for Venice for a week. And it's just awesome. Like, people feel good when you make them feel good. They're being a resource to you. The friendship is coming the other way. Then you get to report back on what happened. And it links to, then the guy the next week referred me to his friend. Now I'm working with him. But it's all because we're sort of kind of living life together, and they're supporting me, not just the other way around.
I love this. I've got a client that I've never sold him a house, but he's sent me, I think, 2 or 3 referrals over the years, and he is like this ultra. It's not ultra marathon. It's like a I don't know. They're like longer races where what's the one where it's longer races, but it's the Ironman. He's like a big Ironman guy. And I remember when COVID hit, I was like, oh, I want to get a stationary bike for my basement. I got to be, working out more. And so I was between like 3 stationary bikes, um, and I reached out to the guy and I'm like, hey, which one of these 3 stationary bikes? He's like, I thought you told me because I had previously reached out to him about my road bike. I want to get a bike for out on the road. And he's like, I thought we had the conversation. Don't you like that road bike that I suggested? And I'm like, I do. He's like, well, there's this adapter thing. It's called a fluid trainer. He's like, you can just take your road bike and you can put it on this thing. And he's like, it's gonna be way more comfortable than any of these stationary bikes that you're going to get. So it was a great tip. And to this day, I mean, I reached out to him probably 2 weeks ago because I was watching the Lance Armstrong 30 for 30 and it had a fluid trainer in there. And I was like, man, every time I see a fluid trainer, I think of you. I reached out. And those are just those little connections that just, like James is saying, you can let them be a resource too. So it's a great point. Anybody else on this topic, or we want to open up to just a regular roundtable? All right. If nobody else has got anything, nobody's got any questions on Sphere or another little tip or trick of a higher staying in touch. This is a good topic. If anybody's got any other, hey, here's what I use to stay in touch. Justin?
I know we talk a lot about these in Florida anyways, about doing like send out cards when we're doing things for like FSBOs and follow up and stuff like that. But I love that for Christmas time, or same thing like you're talking about birthdays, or if somebody had a baby, like they have a card for everything and you can send them with treats. So I'll send, like a box of brownies, or they have like the salted caramels or whatever. you want to throw in there, but they have a ton of stuff to choose from there. And I have clients that, maybe once every couple months or so, if I'm not reaching out to them, they are reaching out to me to say thank you or to just, give me an update on what's going on. And I've already gotten so many referrals from keeping those relationships really, really close with those past buyers. And it's been phenomenal. So just, like a sweet little surprise gift in the mail. I totally found that they absolutely love that.
Yeah, and you're a big fan specifically of sendoutcards.com, Shasta. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one I use because that's what Kirk's always trained us on for like FISBOs and the wow gift. But I'm sure there's a ton more out there. I think there was one other one Alex was telling me about, but this is by far the easiest for me to navigate, like their site and stuff. And I feel like the prices are pretty reasonable, especially if you subscribe. So I think in some cases you can get away with spending like $12 a gift. And they mail it for you, they box it for you. All you do is just make the template and the card online, which is super quick and easy. But it's literally like a handwritten note, like you write whatever you want on that card and then Send Out Card sends everything for you.
Yeah. Yeah, we used it in our recruiting. It's great. I want to say it was like $99 for like unlimited sends or something, if I'm remembering correctly, when you do a subscribe. So
Yeah, I'm not sure.
might
I don't think I send enough of them because that's usually when you're sending like a ton. But even
Yep.
the lower packages, I mean, the amount that they allow you to send is still very generous. So I know that I've been able to get away with those. I don't spend like an arm and a leg for those.
Good. Yeah, and they look great. I the guy that turned me on to send out cards turned me on to him because he took a bunch of my social media pics, like old pics. And what you can do with those cards is you can blow up the pic from social media and put it on the card and make it the whole back of the card. And the message was something simply like, I'm sure you love this picture, but I bet you don't have a physical copy of it. And I didn't. We have so much digital stuff these days. And so that card sat on my desk. It was a picture, it was like my Facebook family cover photo. And he took it and he made it the back of the send out card. And then that card sat on my desk for probably years. So it's a cool little way to, send somebody something that might actually stick around, remind you of them, and be a cool little memory for the both of you. Anybody else want to chime in with something that they're doing to stay in touch with their sphere? All right. Well, we've got a few minutes left here. Let's just open it up. Does somebody have oh, Allison, what do you got?
Well, at least for me, people around my age, they're not buying houses right now. So something that I'm trying to do is stay on top of social media because I find that the girls that I'm following, like subconsciously build a trust with them. So I'm kind of using that tactic with people on social media for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. The bond is real when you're following these. I mean, I have people that I follow. It's turned more into blogging because I've been trying to keep my social scrolling down, but I feel like I know these people. I've never met them, but I feel like I know them. I trust them. If I had an opportunity to do business with them, I would. So you can 100% do this over social media. And, I've said it for a long time. I think, unfortunately, you don't even have to be that good. If you're good at social media, you can generate yourself some business. And I've seen agents that should be doing more business. They are better agents than other agents that are just really good at social, and it's not translating. So you can 100% market your way with a great social media feed, if that's your thing. If you're on this call and you're like, I can't stand social, like, don't try and go and do social. There's so many other ways to do it. But if you love social, 100% you can build a brand and get people that to know, like you, and trust you pretty darn quick. All right, still a few minutes left. Who's got a weird situation going on a deal, something that everybody could learn from? I'll do a little bit of a follow-up from something we had talked about. We talked about the difficulty of buying properties with tenants in it, but I wanted to talk through listing a home with tenants and what is the best way to kind of approach that. Because from my perspective, when you've got tenants in there, not telling them is just going to end up being more difficult down the road when you're trying to sneak people in. So, we had kind of talked about this from the buy side, but I had made a note if we had some space on a future call to just talk about it on the listing side. Much easier to just be upfront with these tenants, have a discussion of what's going on. Yes, they could turn around and leave, and maybe you lose a month or two of rent. But I think you're much more likely to build good rapport, explain the situation, hopefully give them some more time to find another place or make them aware, hey, the market rents are kind of low on this property. My guess is the new buyer is probably going to raise your rents. So either you got to be prepared to pay higher, or you might want to start looking around now. Because if you don't, I think they can make it difficult for the showings. They can make it difficult at inspections. All of a sudden, the inspector's there and the tenants are there, and oh my God, this is wrong and that is wrong. I mean, I've been there. I've been, both listing agent and a buyer's agent, where you're just watching the tenant rip the place apart, and you can just see your deal falling apart right in front of your eyes. So, having more transparency with your tenant, in my mind, is it's not going to work every single time, and they could still maybe cause some problems. But I think being proactive here is the best bet. Sue.
And they could be potential buyers for you too.
100%. 100%. You want to, if you're representing a seller, an investor, and you want to approach him with those or her with those conversations. Hey, look, let's tell the tenants, do you mind if I talk to them about buying? You potentially, if this property sits for 2, 3, 4 months or something, maybe even 6, you could lose these rents. But in my experience, having these conversations up front, but I wouldn't be talking to them about buying unless you've talked to the seller about that first. Jeff and Linda.
So this is so interesting, the timing of this, because I have a really sweet little rental property up in Illinois, and I'm actually going to be listing it. And I had a conversation this past weekend with my tenant, and I wanted to give her right of first refusal. And so she is exploring the possibility of purchasing the unit, and can she get pre-approved, etc. But in the event that she cannot, I want to know, is it from your perspective okay, like, to ask if we can host an open house for an hour or 2 hours on a Saturday or Sunday at her convenience? Is that something that's an okay ask?
100%. I think doing open houses is the way to go when you've got multis versus trying to get people in all throughout during the week. One of the things that I think is a good way to do the open house, whether it's a multi or not, but maybe even more important with a multi, is just to offer up a little something, right? I know a lot of the high-end listing agents have they'll put their people, hey, I'll put you out for lunch, go to the movies, all on me, right? I just need the house for 2 hours. So they'll get them a lunch certificate for a nice fine restaurant around the area or something like that. For a tenant, maybe it's, it tickets to the movies. If they've got kids, can you get them a gift card to something? So, work with the landlord, the owner, on maybe offering them up something to take care of that time, give them an activity to do on the weekend. I always thought that was a great approach when we've got to try and get somebody out for a little bit, but hopefully that helps.
Yeah, no, that does help. And yeah, she's just been, and I will absolutely offer her something lovely. She is my tenant, and she's just been awesome. So I want to be good to her always. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And you made a great comment in there. Is if you approach it with the owner of, hey, let's give them first right of refusal. Let's see if any of these tenants, typically the tenants aren't going to be able to buy it, but it's just a nice offering. you can get it off on the right foot. Hey, I'm going to be putting up for sale. Oftentimes one of the tenants really likes the property. Do you guys think you might be able to purchase, and maybe we can structure a deal. Now, probably want your listing agreement signed before you're, bringing that to your seller. You could lose that deal, right? So
I am
that
the
might be
seller.
something- I know I'm yours. I'm just saying in general.
Oh,
In
I see.
general,
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
yeah,
Good.
we don't want to be
Okay.
talking to the seller about, hey, this is what we're going to do. And the seller says, well, I might as well just go ask them first myself before I'm going to pay you a commission to structure this whole thing. So, once you got the listing agreement signed, then you might want to have that conversation of,
Okay. Yeah, that
hey,
makes good sense.
have you even, I'm going to start marketing this thing. Have you ever talked to your own people about buying this? Right.
Got it.
So
Yes.
I think most tenants are not going to be able to, and I think that's why landlords probably don't even think to ask. Anybody else on this subject or any other questions? Hey, I'm listing a house with tenants. What do I do about this? Anybody have an experience listing a house with tenants that you're like, hey, you didn't talk about this, had this happen, it really made the transaction difficult. Be aware. Okay. Well, if you think of something, ask. Let's go have ourselves a great Tuesday, and we will talk to you again. Hopefully my ship is still sailing and it's sunny tomorrow. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Arg, matey. Thank you.
Bye, guys.